Hey guys, welcome back to the Bulwark. Sam Stein here, managing editor with Tim Miller, Bulwark extraordinaire. We'll call him that for now. As always, subscribe to the feed. We love it. We're going to talk about Time Magazine, a relic of the past in journalism speak, but something near and dear to Trump's heart. He was rewarded this morning with Time Magazine Man of the Year.
Is this why you're low energy right now, Sam? Because you're
I'm
just
not low
you're
energy,
distressed.
man.
You wanted to be Time Man of the Year, or did you have another nominee that you preferred, or is it Dan Hurley you wanted, or what's going on? Why are you a little sad?
That's a pretty good point. I don't know if they considered Hurley. I would have voted for Hurley, but other than Hurley, I think it's totally fair and honestly, appropriate that Trump won Man of the Year. He won the presidency.
I don't gotta hand it to him, but
I'm not handing it to him. It was handed to him by Time. Okay, no one asked you to hand him anything. He already got handed it. But there's some stuff. So as part of this this process, he sat down with the magazine. In the interview, there's a lot of news in there that I think people should process. Up front, they pressed him on the central element of his campaign.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just really quick before we get to the news.
Yeah.
There's something about this word process. I was teasing Jen Psaki about this because she keeps using every time she has to talk about something bad related to Trump 2.0. It's like, this is something we're going to process. We're all processing this together. It's like process is the new code word for
it's very safe.
For like how you deal with the fucking trauma of the horrors that are about to unfold in your nation. But that's a little harsh to say every time you come on to the video. So process.
What would your
I don't know. I just think it's funny. It's like it has become a crutch word. And Jen, when I was with Jen on election night from 3 till 6 a.m. and over the course of like a 5-minute period, she used the word process 8 times. Just like, and we're all processing this, and we're processing that, and we're going to need to process that in the years to come. Anyway, let's discuss what we have to process. I'm excited. I haven't read the whole interview. You have.
All right. First bit. They asked Trump about the central promise of his campaign, bringing down the price of groceries. They said, if the price of groceries don't come down, will your presidency be a failure? Now, I'm getting some slack on the old Twitters for not including the full answer here, which I think is bullshit. The answer's, I fucking described it correctly, whatever. Here's the full answer. Quote, I don't think so. Look, they got them up. I'd like to bring them down. It's hard to bring things down once they're up. It's very hard. But I think that they will. I think that energy is going to bring them down. I think a better supply chain is going to bring them down. Supply chain is still broken. Blah, 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 blah. Plainly, Trump saying, maybe I'm not going to be able to bring the grocery prices down. It's hard. He literally says it's very hard to bring them down. Don't know if it can happen. I just found that extraordinary because if you looked at any quote during the campaign, there's no hedging. None of this. Oh, it's hard to bring prices down once they go up. It was, I will cut your grocery bill. Full stop. So I thought that was quite the hedge.
Yeah. I don't know if I think Trump's word salad is astonishing. It's kind of SOP, but I will say this. And I will keep saying this over and over again. His agenda is inflationary.
Yeah.
Besides the drilling, everything else, it's like, oh, we're going to deport the people that are picking the fruit. That's inflationary. We're going to deport the people that work in these grocery stores. That's inflationary. We're going to tariff food items coming from other countries. That's inflationary. We're going to cut taxes so that rich and upper middle class people have more money to spend. That's inflationary. Like his whole agenda is inflationary. So yeah, food prices aren't coming down. Newsflash.
Right. And I think he knows it. And I think it's funny because the reaction online to this is like, well, of course, he's just being honest. Like that's, once deflationary, you can't have deflation. That's not what we want. And it's like, well, that's what he promised. And then the other reaction from his defenders is, well, but you're not putting the full quote there. In fact, the full quote is exactly what I described, which is he's not sure he can get prices down. He literally is saying, I'm not sure. I think they will. Yeah, but I'm not sure. There's nothing inaccurate. That's like the beginning of the news in this interview.
Okay.
Another thing, J6 pardons. Do you have in mind what it's going to look like? He thinks within maybe the first 9 minutes he will pardon the J6 rioters. It was the first time he used such a precise time frame here. 9 minutes.
Law and order.
It's pretty quick.
I'm excited for this whole new law and order regime where we back the blue. where the first action upon taking the oath of office is that we pardon people that attacked police. Right. I hope that they raise a thin blue line red flag over the White House.
Do they get right out of jail right away? Like, is that it?
I don't know.
Like
I'm
the gates have to be opened?
It's like I sent around in the Slack today the video of General Radek from Air Force One being released, where all the prisoners are cheering and they're singing the whatever fake Eastern European Bloc national anthem.
People probably don't remember Air Force One.
Yes, people don't
remember
Air Force One.
A good bad movie.
An amazing movie, a classic. But I do think, they'll be singing the J6 national anthem and they'll raise the thin blue line flag over the Capitol. That's going to be day one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, detention camps. Asked about detention camps. There might be,
say yes.
He said. Yeah, he said there might be. So we have that going for us.
Here in Louisiana, they're already prepping. We've got, I think, the second largest holding camp, whatever you want to call it, for illegal migrants, and I think they're going to invest in it. I think it's going to grow. More are coming.
Good business for private prisoners, private prison companies. Elon Musk. Here's the exchange. Can I ask, did Elon Musk meet with the Iranians at your behest? Trump. I don't know that he met with them. Time. Reportedly, he met with the Iranians. Trump. I don't know. He didn't tell me that. I hope they're on the same page. I'm going
to take that as a yes, I think. I'm taking that as a yes.
I was like, I just hope they're on the same page on this one. It's kind of consequential. And then the other one, which really kind of tickled me, he was asked about transgender issues. I said, obviously it was a major part of your campaign. In 2016, you said transgender people could use whatever bathroom they choose. Do you still feel that way? Trump, when was that? Time, in 2016. And then Trump went on to say, you know what? I don't think this is a big deal. Like, I just don't think transgender issues are a big deal. And I thought that was kind of extraordinary.
And then what does he say? Then doesn't he go on to do another answer about Sarah McBride? Yeah,
so time goes. But on that note, there was a big fight in Congress on this now. The incoming trans member from Delaware, Sarah McBride, says we should all be focused on more important issues. Do you agree? Trump, I do agree with that. On that, absolutely. As I was saying, it's a small number of people.
Okay, so that's what I was trying. I couldn't quite understand that. So he didn't weigh in on Nancy Mace's bathroom ban.
He did not. He didn't actually weigh in on the like.
It's not great questioning there from. Time.
No, they should have drilled down. I think in the aggregate, sort of in the broad scheme, though, he's like sort of affirming that this is like much ado about nothing. Like that. This
is always Trump. Trump cares about Trump, and that's it. And he has a few bugaboos like tariffs and deportations that we can expect will happen, and as evidenced by this interview. Though I guess you didn't mention tariffs. Did you talk about tariffs at all in the interview?
It was brought up in the interview. It was the usual Trump comments. They'll pay for themselves.
Yeah. So I mean, some of the stuff he's going to do, and the retribution, right? Like, and the remaking of the government. The question is always like,
there's one more. There's one more.
Okay, before we get to that though, this is the game though that Trump plays, and there's some element of truth to it, and it's worked for him politically. And frankly, maybe there's something the Democrats can learn from this type of disingenuousness. But Trump, really, doesn't care about most of the weird cultural stuff that the religious right types care about. Like he just doesn't, right? I mean, it's not like he had the porn monitor on Don Jr.'s phone like Mike Johnson does with his kid, right? Like Trump is a fucking libertine in his personal life.
You don't know.
I'm
just to
pretty
see what John
confident
was watching.
I'm pretty confident he did it, but
just to check, make sure John was watching the right porn, obviously.
So he personally doesn't care about this stuff. I just don't want to think about the porn consumption of the Trump family. And so I was trying to press forward. But you're a much tougher questioner than the Time questioner, challenging Donald Trump. So you really wanted to pin me down on that. So this is the thing, though. He hired all these Project 2025 people, right? So Trump, I take him, and this is one case where I take Trump at his word. He doesn't care that much about the trans bathroom thing. He really couldn't care less one way or the other. As personal, his campaign staff cared about it. They ran like $100 million plus worth of ads demagoguing trans people. There'll be people in the administration that care deeply about this, that pass rules that make it harder for trans people.
Yes,
the military, Pete Hegseth cares deeply about trans people. Trans people in the military are in for a tough time. There are Republicans in red states who are obsessed with this issue. If you're a trans person here in Louisiana, in rural Louisiana, you're going to be in for a crackdown, and Donald Trump's not going to come to your defense. So like that's this kind of like two-step that he plays, right? Where it's like, I personally don't care about this sort of stuff, but I've hired all these people that do, and they're gonna and I will only object if it like becomes a problem for me personally. Which,
right.
You know,
I think that's absolutely right. There's always been this thing with Trump where there's sort of the most important resource in a Trump White House is his personal attention. And if you could get his personal attention, if you can make the point that, something that even his own administration is doing is wrong, you might get it reversed. And that's why so many people in the influence peddling industry during the first term would try to get their clients or themselves on Fox and Friends. I mean, literally, that's what they did because they wanted to get Trump's attention. And they knew that he would spend a lot of time in the morning watching TV. But it's a horrible way to make policy because if Trump's not paying attention, he'll just delegate to people who will do things that they see fit. And so, it's herky-jerky, and obviously it's a problem. The thing I was going to add as a sort of agenda item, and I think this sort of, I can tie it into what you're talking about. He was asked about Robert Kennedy Jr. at HHS. And, Tom said, look, if RFK Jr. moves to end childhood vaccination programs, would you sign off on that? And his response was, and this is an abridged response, he said, we're going to have a big discussion. He was asked 3 more times about this, and never once did he say, no, childhood vaccinations have been one of the great benefits to society over the past century.
You think that's the right answer?
I know that's the right answer.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay. He's fully gone to the place rhetorically, at least, that we need to study this stuff, which is a huge and seismic shift and a really, frankly, alarming development in terms of public health. I think, to tie it to what you're saying, is that he does also feel like if someone helped him politically, that he's going to be, willing to help them or at least give them some runway. And so that's why Elon Musk gets to do all this stuff, and that's why Robert Kennedy's going to be HHS. And that's, I think, the other element of Trump. It's tariffs, it's immigration, and it's, getting ahead politically and rewarding the people who helped you politically. And that's what we're in for.
All right. Well, that's great stuff, Sam. Thank you for reading that interview. So I didn't have to.
I read it. I thought it was really interesting. I appreciated that they put the full transcript up. I encourage people to go see it themselves, but not before they like this video and share it with everyone else first. Thank you all.
Peace.
Tim, talk to you later.
Later, bro.